one student became two, then became four, and now I'm beyond capacity. I have
Yeah.
14, but I
Wow.
also still teach full time.
We've got as well today Demitra Bryant. Hello, Demitra. So, Demitra, tell everybody what it is that you tutor and what you do.
I do reading and writing for children with exceptionalities, mainly students with IEPs. They may be on a 504 plan, but then also students that are struggling that may be part of the response to intervention team or just not passing their classes. So that's how I originally started, with children with special needs. Then I started getting gifted students requests, because I am also a gifted, have a gifted certification. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, hey, why not? I haven't been able to really utilize my gifted certification in the public school system so
Right.
much. So I'm just like, hey, you know what? What a wonderful opportunity to go ahead and create a program for them. So they're enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Everybody's enjoying it.
That's awesome. I love that. I mean, and the school system, I know they've got a very big job to do. They've got all of these kids that are struggling that they've got to meet the needs of. But these kids that are gifted, or the kids that are above grade level, they're getting left behind, in their own way, because they could be moving forward faster. And I really don't think that we should keep them all here at the same level. We don't need to have everybody be a robot and be exactly the same. Like, everybody's going to have their own gifts in their own areas and things. And I think it's okay for us to expand upon that and not, we want to close that gap so much that we're almost like dumbing down our smarter kids as well by not offering them different things. So that's amazing that you're doing that. So how when it comes to being able to reach that four figures, when you finally reached that four figures the first time, what did it feel like?
I was like, I was shocked, because my anticipation was, I'm not going to do the after school program. Maybe I'll just tutor three kids, maybe a couple of kids will join for the summer. And, you know, one student became two, then became four, and now I'm beyond capacity. I have
Yeah.
14, but I
Wow.
also still teach full time. So
Yes.
to coordinate all of that has been fun. But when I realized, oh my goodness, I hit four figures like maybe the fifth month after joining the Jumpstart program, I'm just like, oh my God, I had no idea. I didn't have that big dream like
Sure.
that. It was just to help with some little gaps that I had. But then I'm just like, oh, you know what? You can be doing this full time. It's time to retire and
Right?
retire now. So it's very exciting.
So is that the goal? Is the goal to leave the school system and do this full time now?
Yes, it is. I'm in a predicament now where I'll be 60 in 2023.
Uh-huh.
So I can retire then. But I'm just like, why? I may just go ahead and do it a year earlier, because with COVID now and digital learning and all this stuff that's going on, it's just like, why don't I just go ahead and move forward
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. Yeah, and you've opened yourself up to options. And isn't that
Yes.
awesome? Like, you have choices. It's like, I don't actually need to teach in the classroom if I don't want to. That's amazing. I think that's almost where getting to that four figures almost does to you. Like, you all of a sudden start seeing the possibilities and what can really happen because of this, that this is actually a pretty darn easy way to make money, isn't it?
It is. And just to know that I'm able to help the parents also with needs. So I had a lot of parents that didn't understand their IEPs, different terminology. So I've incorporated IEP consultations within my tutoring. So it's not only am I helping the kids, I'm helping the families. I realized that there was some kids that were diagnosed with executive functioning. So I have now private tutoring for just executive functioning, not just reading and writing. So the possibilities of tutoring has gone well beyond what I'm thinking was just going to be reading and writing.
Yeah.
It's well beyond that right now.
Yeah, and it absolutely can, right? And I think that's the beauty. Like when you just start off with one idea of like, okay, who am I going to target? Who am I going to market to? And then all of a sudden people start coming to you and they start saying, oh, can you tutor this? Can you tutor that? You have options. You can say, I actually would enjoy tutoring that. Let me give it a go, right? Or, no, that's not really my thing. I'm going to pass them on up to another tutor that might be a better fit than I would be for that. So,
right.
I think
and I do have the people that, want help with math. I'm like, oh boy, no, you don't want me to do that. I mean, I can do it, but not the way they want the students to learn right now.
Right.
So I just really do focus on the reading and writing, and then I do refer out for students that need the math help. So
yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you ended up doing Jumpstart and you joined Insiders. What have you noticed is the difference between Jumpstart and Insiders?
I joined Insiders first. And then just by chance, okay, so this was February and March of 2020, your Jumpstart program was beginning. And I'm just like, you know what, I better go ahead and jumpstart in order to really, be able to move forward. The Insider Club provided a lot of information. I was already a business owner in travel. I had my travel agency for 16 years. That was my retirement plan, but COVID kind of had to shut that down a little bit. So, just switching the whole mindset of travel and entertainment to tutoring, I think that if I didn't join the Jumpstart program, I would not have been as successful or as fast, because you had mentioned in the Jumpstart program, being able to get your first student by the time the program was over. I'm like, yeah, okay, let's see how this goes. And I swear to you, the last day of the Jumpstart program, I got 2 students. I'm like, I missed something.
I love it. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And it's not like it happens like right out of the gate for everybody. I mean, some people it does happen right out of the gate for them. They get that first student, boom, they're getting going, they're excited. And then some, it's right towards the end of the program where they get that student. And some, that join the program, maybe they don't get a student during the program, but they get a student after the program because of all of the pieces that they have put into place with their business. And we all have to be patient, I think, sometimes with ourselves if you're taking the right actions and you're being honest with yourself. So
right.
Awesome.
I agree with you. But, your program, it was just phenomenal. For anybody who is considering taking your program, follow the program. Just follow it. It works.
It does.
It works.
It does. And what's cool is, you guys, it's going to open next week. So if you've been on the fence, you're thinking about joining Jumpstart, we will be opening the doors next Tuesday. We are going to have a free training where you can learn more about how can you make 2022 a profitable year with your tutoring business. So we'll be having that free training. I'll share more information about Jumpstart, and then you guys will be able to join Jumpstart, and we'll start with a new cohort of people in the new year.
May I add something else?
Yeah, you sure can.
In addition to your Jumpstart, I also did the Reading Interventionist program. And as much as I've been a reading and language arts teacher for many, many years, we all know how that kind of works. You have that certification, but those nuances of the phonics and, different programs and things like that, that's not what we're taught. And if you are lucky enough to have a school system that's buying a new curriculum or something, sometimes the school systems don't purchase the entire program.
Right.
So you still have these gaps where the kids was just like, oh, if I had that extra piece for this program, it will probably work. So I did appreciate the reading intervention program. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And the training as well. Like sometimes like you get a new program and sometimes they don't purchase the training. Like not all programs give you a training. You have to purchase the training. And so some school districts think, oh, we'll just have our own people train them, even though their own people have never actually taught the program. And I think we have to go beyond programs here and know how do we actually close the gap for each of these kiddos and how can we do it quickly, because that's what we're being hired for, right? And so it involves us removing ourselves. I know a lot of people, they're like, I know this one program, so I'm going to teach that online. Like, okay, you could choose to do that, but know that that program has been designed to only move a child 2 years in one. Right? Like any programs that have been designed for the school system, if you're in a special ed, that specifically is their guarantee is that we'll move you 2 years in one, and they do not. And then they don't. And so you're stuck with like, okay, so the kids didn't make the 2 years, so they didn't make that group. Some of them are even further behind than, their peers than they would like to be at this point in time. And we just need to have that knowledge of how do we manipulate ourselves around each of these different facets that kids can struggle with and be able to close that gap and do it quickly and efficiently.
Not all programs are designed for all the kids, especially when you're talking to, students with disabilities. You just can't, for a lot of learners, you just can't place them in front of a computer.
Right.
You need that direct instruction from the professional, from the teacher. So.
And I have found like the research in the past has always said, small group instruction is just as effective as one-on-one. Oh my gosh, like who were they doing those studies with is all I have to say, because I have not experienced that whatsoever. Like that's what I believed. And so that's what I did when I was in the school system. I had small groups of kids always with me, but the kids don't all move at the same rate. And so somebody is always being pulled back or somebody is being, pushed ahead versus being able to get that exact instruction that they need in that moment. And that's not cool. So I don't know. I think that the more that we can educate ourselves, the better that we can do. So yay. I'm glad that all of those things were effective for you and they help you continue to have a 4-figure a month income.